In this video today, Tom finally gets his 981 GTS Cayman. Tom had a 987 Gen 2 Base Cayman. He always wanted a GTS. He's been looking out for one for a while. This is his story. He finally got it. Tom, over to you, mate.
Here's my brother that looked at the car, gave me the inspection and said, Tom, you should get it. And then here's my brother that's gonna drive with me for about 14 hours. Hey Joe, start it up, give it some gas. Hi Max, Tom and Gracia from the USA, Cedarburg, Wisconsin, near Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Isn't this a beautiful hat? I've been on an odyssey to find a Porsche GTS, and it started about over 6 months ago. One slipped away. It was in Boston. It was a beautiful GTS. It was dark blue. It had the turbo wheels. It had like the MSRP was like $98,000. It had a lot of beautiful options. Almost got it, lost it. March 1st comes, the car that I really wanted. It was a white GTS with black wheels, 16,000 miles, absolutely beautiful. From a private person, they were asking a lot. They were asking like $68,000, which is about what they are. And I was gonna call him on March 1st and try to get the deal done. 3 days earlier, he had sold the car. So there's two GTSs. I've got 11 different car shopping websites that I check almost every day, and it's ridiculous that I do because I've got these automatic alerts. And then yesterday I thought, well, what the hell? I'll just check my first one, cargurus.com. Look at it. Oh my God, there's a white 2015 GTS black wheels because I have to have black wheels. And I'm like, you know, almost all of them have that X73 sports suspension. This one had PASM, which I wanted. Looked really good. I'm like, what the heck? It had 37,000 miles on it. I'm going to look into it and we'll see what happens. Oh, before I go, let me tell you what the specs are. 2015 GTS, white, black leather, Alcantara, but it's got the rhodium silver stitching, which I think is better than the red. The red's too showy for me. It's got GTS interior package, Porsche torque vectoring, PDK. Sorry guys, PDK. I have a manual now. I'm ready to go to PDK. Wheels painted in black satin, which are awesome. Sport design steering wheel in leather. I'm so glad it's not Alcantara on the steering wheel because I've heard so many complaints about it. It gets all matted down and kind of ugly looking. So it's a spec that I would have made. It's got Porsche Dynamic Light System Plus, which these are the lights that are LED. They will turn when you turn. Entertainment package with Bose. The list price is like $91,800. So this is the one that I'm going to go for. I'll let you know what happens. Thanks, Max. I called the dealer. My brother lives in North Carolina where the car is. It's about an hour away. And I said, Carl, hey, can you drive there and take a look at it? So he drove there, took a look at it. He had it for about an hour and he took his phone and we did a Skype meeting and he literally went around the car. The car looks really good. It's got some chips, you know, where they normally are, but it's got 37,000 miles. So pretty much what you'd expect. He said Sports Plus is unbelievable. He goes, I was almost afraid to drive it in Sports Plus because I was waiting for it to shift gears. The sports exhaust sounds awesome. You can really tell a difference when you have it on and off. He drove it back. I talked to the dealer. We went back and forth with texts and emails. They were asking $57.8 US dollars. And I offered like 52 and they said not even close. You know, we blah, blah, blah. We don't haggle. And this is a Porsche certified car, which is interesting because I think I knew this, but it's pretty incredible that when they certify a car, they have to bring it up to certain specs. So they have to actually spend money. And they spent like about $1,800 on the car doing some sensors and changing a bunch of filters and things. And it has to meet certain guidelines for Porsche to have it be a Porsche certified car. And then there's a 2-year warranty. And so I negotiated and I offered them $56,500 and they said yes. And I have a GTS. Hey, we are picking up the car. Here it is. I haven't even sat in it yet. and let me do a quick little walk around here.
Hi, Max.
Hey, we picked up the car about an hour and a half ago. We've done about 70 miles. The first thing I noticed between my 987.2 and the 981 GTS is the ride. Maybe it's PASM. I know it's a little bit wider, but the ride is so much more comfortable. It's still, you know, sporty and turns like crazy, but the ride is so much more comfortable. Not so much in between PASM on and off, but just the ride from this car versus the 987. The steering, I would say the steering in this car, it's still tight and very direct, but it is less feel, definitely less feel than the 987.2. We are about halfway through. We overslept. My brother snores like crazy, and I put stuff in my ears so I couldn't wake up. Anyway, couple comments. I guess the one thing about this new car is that the sound. My goodness, the glorious sound. It's unbelievable. And then the other thing too is that it's and probably a lot of your listeners know this, is that there are so many different ways to configure this car, like shocks, stiff, not stiff, you know, with PASM, sports exhaust on or off, you know, regular ride, sport plus, and then any combination of any of that, which is interesting. I didn't realize that you could. I thought there were some limitations, but I don't think there are. It seems like you can literally turn on and off. Who's this guy? Oh, okay, that's my brother. They can turn on and off almost anything. One thing that I can tell you that I do like about my 987.2 more than this car is that in the style of these guys right here, you know, the newer one, there's this little crease, and I kind of like the more rounded look. But you know, that's just a little comment. But it's just a little bit more modern look. Anyway, that's all for now. Living life and cars to the max. Just wanted to let you know that I am back home after my odyssey to get the GTS. It's been about 7 or 8 months of trying to get one. Lost the first one, lost the second one, got the third one, and I'm very, very happy. I had to fly down one way, and then my brother and I drove back up with the car. And I got two brothers that I love, and they're very helpful. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to have this. The main reasons I wanted to get a 981 and specifically the GTS, because I wanted to get PASM. But as you may know, Max, with my 987, I didn't even get to see it or even drive it before I bought it. And the same thing is with the GTS. They're just so darn rare, you can't find them locally. So as you know, I had my brother go down and take a look at it, and I decided to go for it. And I was a little bit nervous about, hey, what's this PASM going to be all about? But I can say that the PASM really does make a difference. The ride in the 981 is definitely less bumpy. It still seems to turn and corner just as well. I don't know if it's because of the fact that the 981's a little bit wider or longer. I'm not quite sure. I haven't put the GTS through its test of, you know, really hard driving around corners, because even the Tail of the Dragon that we went through, it was wet and I really couldn't drive it hard. So the PASM does seem to make a difference, and even the PASM on its sports setting does make a difference between PASM on its regular setting, and that's another thing I was concerned about, so I could feel that. The sound, well, God, the sound of I think it's because of the sports exhaust or just the 980. I don't know what it is, but the sound is fantastic. Now the sound of the 987.2 is fantastic. The sound of the 981, it's with the sports exhaust, it's louder, it's a little bit more intense. The front and rear design, I tell you what, I kind of like the GTS front design because it raises the middle grille a little bit, so the front bumper isn't quite as big. I don't like this guy here, this little crease there. I really prefer the more rounded version of the 987. That I just think that looks so much nicer. But I think there's pressure on, to be modern, you got to have creases or whatever. So I don't really like that as much. The 981 with the GTS, there's so many drive options. It's amazing. There's plain old automatic. Then there's automatic where you can put it into manual where it literally won't change until you change the gear shift. Then of course there's manual, or there's automatic with the paddles, where when you change the paddles, what'll happen is, you'll go into the desired gear, but after about 5 seconds or so, it'll switch back to automatic. Then there's the regular drive, then there's sport, then there's sport plus. Then any of those you can have with or without the sports exhaust. And then with PASM, you can either have PASM to its softest setting or its hardest setting, and then any other combination. So there's quite a few, I guess you'd say, drive modes with PDK and sports exhaust and PASM. The other thing I wanted to say is that I definitely will miss manual. It definitely is fun to change your gears. So I'll always kind of miss that. That will be missed. How can you say it won't be missed? The other thing I wanted to mention is that with the PDK, the one thing I noticed, and I guess this is maybe true with regular automatic transmissions, is that it will react basically how you react. If you push down the pedal quickly and then even come back, just the fact that you push down the pedal at a high speed means that it senses that, and it'll shift from like fifth down to second. And like I said, even if you put it down very quickly and then let off, it'll still shift down to second. And it's like it senses what you want, and even though you let off the gas pedal, it'll stay in second gear for a while because it's assuming that you might need the extra torque and power, and then you can press on the accelerator and get up and go. So it's interesting compared to just, I think, regular cars with automatic transmissions. If you press on the accelerator, it doesn't maybe matter so much on the speed of how quickly you put down the accelerator. I don't know. I could be totally wrong, but that's what it seems like. Even though it's got PDK, I feel like I'm still learning about PDK and how it reacts. Oh, the other thing is that I got more looks on this car driving from North Carolina to Milwaukee in 3 days than I did with my blue car in a year and a half. And the only thing I can think of, even though I love the blue, the only thing I can think of is if it's just the contrast between white and black. I don't know what else this is, because the average person that gives a thumbs up, I don't think they notice a difference in the shape. I think it's just the color, and just maybe the fact that the wheels are black and there's contrast. And then when it comes to the steering is very tight and really, really tight on the 981, just like the 987. I do think you definitely lose a little bit of road feel, but it wasn't as bad as I had thought it might be. So, Max, those are my thoughts on the differences between the chassis and the versions. So that's it for now, and my Odyssey is over. Now I just get to enjoy, and I'm living life in cars to the max.